Welcome back to Chats with Jack. I am Jack Talcott. And greetings, blessings, salutations, and love. Welcome back once again to Chats with Jack. I am Jack Talcott, and I am here to share some spirit of joy and encouragement. And I am here to kind of excited to see what the universe may bring forth today. Sincerely, to those of you who have already stopped in, blessings and greetings. And dude, some psychoactive mushrooms, let's do this. Yes, allow your mind just to kind of travel and enjoy the journey. Everybody tuning in, please, thank you. And as you're tuning in, open up, settle in, and let's enjoy this journey together. And I want to take care of something before I forget. And I think at the beginning here might be the best time to do so. I'm going to drop a little bit of generosity for those who have already been here. And so beautiful. Congratulations to those who caught in with that. And I'm going to drop the link for those who want to join the conversations here in just a few minutes. But I want to start with, kind of the topic and kind of where I'm at. Happy Saturday, sincerely. I am coming from a place filled with blessings. I mean, I had such a wonderful morning. The sun is out. Cool, crisp morning here in February in the Pacific Northwest, where by God's grace, I really haven't even needed the snow tires that I invested in. So, life is pretty good. There's a lot of subtle things that we can be grateful for. And this morning I was blessed with fellowship at a men's breakfast, kind of a men's group type thing, hosted by a couple of the local churches. So it was an inspiring morning filled with faith, fellowship, and here, that's what I'm hoping to continue with this. So where was I? On this positive Saturday, may your mindset be a magnet for good vibes. May your actions reflect kindness. And your day be a testament to the power of positivity, sincerely. And particularly if you're going and feeling guided to click the link today, and when we open this up, sincerely, be good vibes, a little bit of kindness, and let's share the power of positivity. Let's see what can be accomplished. Because in my words with this too, today, think about this thought, today. All that's happening, all the world, all the universe today was created for you to experience on this day. Everything else was just preparation. So throughout this day and the next ones, what we want to do is use our powers of choice and discernment. And if you simply set the goal to create the best experience for yourself that you can discover, that you can create, right? Co-create with the greater powers and the greater world. If you simply set your goal, the idea of losing 20 pounds or saving this amount or meeting this, whatever, all these things can be milestones, right? But if you just set the simple goal for consistent and continual improvement, that's the goal of life. That's the path of life. That's really what we're here to do. So if you recognize that each day is created for you to live, then use your discernment, use your choice, figure out what you can do to create the best experience of this day for yourself and others that you can. And maybe it's preparation. Maybe today's a day where you do the work, and with the goal of future gratification, a little delayed gratification, that's important too. But regardless, enjoy the journey, enjoy the progress, and notice, pay attention to what you're doing, what you're growing. What is it that you are growing? What is it that you are becoming? What is it? It's really easy for us in this world to be so caught up on the past. What did you achieve? What did you not achieve? That stuff, it's helpful, but it's not controlling of the future. I mean, our lives, all of our lives, you and me, who's ever tuning in, our lives start today, at least the rest of it. The rest of our lives start today. I have dropped the link for those who may wish to join the conversation and the panel. Please feel free to do so. The goal is today, though, we're going to keep this positive, keep it uplifting, and hopefully through that share some perspectives that hopefully add some value, right? Because that's what life's about. If we're not looking for value, can you find it? See, sometimes the appearance is if we look for value, we won't find it. But I think it's the other way. I think if we're not looking for value, if we're not looking for opportunities, then what is it we're doing? Are we just spinning our wheels? Are we just drifting through life? I used to do that. I didn't realize that's what I was doing, but I didn't realize how limited my awareness was. I didn't realize how consumed I had become by my thoughts, not what I was actually doing, not even what others were actually doing. I was so caught up in my thoughts about what I was doing or my thoughts about what everyone else was doing. How are you living your life? If you're honest, is your day spent with the awareness and focus of what you are doing? Are you active in your day planning and preparing for the future? Or are you spending time just going through the habits and the memories of the routine, the choice, the life that you chose at some point in the past? It's easy for us to fall asleep, right? We'll be awake, right? We'll be going through the motions and it'll look like we're thinking, but brothers and sisters, the bodies and this experience we've been given, there's something divine about it. There's a true aspect, a spiritual aspect of our life that can certainly be enhanced, realized, developed, embraced. We can embrace the spiritual aspect of our life. I like that idea. Because here in the topic of the stream today, do you have to or do you get to? That you start paying attention to those patterns in your mind, brothers and sisters. Ask yourself, do I have to or do I get to? Because if you have to, guess what? You might be a slave. You might be asleep at the wheel, doing what you were told to do a long time ago. If you have to do something, you might be remembering a choice you made a long time ago. So every day is unique. Every new moment is new. The appearance is that things are forever, right? The appearance is this life will last forever. The appearance is this relationship, this investment, this this employment, this career, whatever. In our minds, it happens. There's an excellent book I recommend. Well, a couple of excellent books written by the author Napoleon Hill. He's well known for Think and Grow Rich. Well, he's got another excellent book that was authored by him called Outwitting the Devil. I've spoken about this book and the topic before. But I'm telling you, what that book, the reason I'm bringing that up is the book, allegedly, it is the dialogue and conversation with the devil through conscious and channeled methods. And in it, the devil lays out a lot of truths, right, about how men get corrupted and how the devil uses temptation, but he keeps a couple of secrets to himself and he doesn't really share them. In the stuff he does share, what he talks about is how the devil, Satan, the concept of the opposer, how that gets into us is when we drift. Well, what are we drifting from? We're drifting away from our responsibility. We're drifting away from our attention and maybe our humility. When we start drifting away from the authentic aspects of who we are, with excuses, with blame, through confusion and ignorance, what happens, we make these mistakes. We do stupid things sometimes in our lives, and we really don't know what happened. This has happened with me, even when I wasn't drunk in the past, to be honest. You know, we misspeak, we misstep, we do things that are foolish. And what I know used to happen with me, and I've seen others do this, people will do something not knowing why it was, what was driving them actually. And in their confusion, they'll make an excuse. They'll jump to a conclusion. And it's typically a blame or an excuse to push away responsibility. But sometimes in this confusion, what we'll do is we'll lie. We'll lie to ourselves, and it may appear like an innocent lie. It may appear like a small lie, like it's insignificant. But these lies, brothers and sisters, these lies, they cloud our spiritual field, our aura, I guess. Our minds become clouded through our sins, through our stupidity, to be honest. But this is what the world has taught, and this is what the world has conditioned. The world literally profits from stupidity. Why? Just like was written about in the Bible, and here we're going to get to a bunch of things today. Just like it was written in the Bible, man. This is Satan's world. It is. How do we know? Because secrets and lies, the lies are plentiful. People are, the world is so flooded with lies that people actually have lost practice. They don't know how to tell the truth. They lie without even knowing it, without even realizing it. And it's like, holy cows, man. Holy cows, the words of the Bible are true, man. It's a spiritual game. It's a spiritual battle. And the way Jesus taught, that is the way. It doesn't matter what you think. If you go and accept those words as true about love one another, love God. Oh my goodness, love God. Pray. We haven't done it yet. Let's pause just a moment here. Praise God. Sincerely praise God for the sun, the moon, the mountains, the valleys, for the birds and the snails and all the plants and all the beings. Praise God, your glory. Wow. Praise God. You know, all of the time of the past, all of the time, all the perfect order of cause and effect, and this happened, and then this happened, and this happened, and then this happened. All of those years came forth to perfectly reveal today for us. That's humbling, man. See, and this is what I was thinking about yesterday, actually. Or was it today? Time. It was in the past. I was sitting outside in the sun, feeling the warmth and the generosity of life that comes forth from the sun. I mean, I don't know. I don't claim to know how it works. You know, part of this is I repeat some things I've heard, like this vitamin D thing. Somehow, chemically, magically, sunlight creates vitamins in our body, and these vitamins help us feel better or do better or live better. It's like, praise God. So I was sitting out in the sun, nourishing, receiving the nourishment of nature, and nowhere special, right? I got a little step, like it's kind of next to my driveway, so I just sit there and I don't know. I see the street, but I hear the birds and I see the trees, and I know that the vastness of nature is with me. And I was sitting there considering how generous the sun is to sustain all the life here on earth, and how generous, absolute, powerful, and generous Mother Earth is to us to sustain all this life. And I thought, you know, how generous that is. Just by their being, their sharing of their being sustains life. It makes life better. Going out in the sun, to me, I mean, that makes life better, man. I love the sun. This is what I think is so funny. It's divine in the storytelling that the Son of God walked on earth, born at the time of the solstice, right? That we tradition at. And then people who worship the book and the man, they look down on the idea of including the sun that God created for us, right? But I don't know. I kind of see things a little bit different than most people. Talcott Express, I'm glad you do too. I am so grateful you see things different than people. I mean, different than other people, so that you see them like me. Just Josh, golly geez, and Dominic, Chuck in Tennessee. Blessings to all of you folks who are joining in sincerely. Sincerely. To become a free child of God, I'm going to swing us back into this topic again, right? We praise God. We bring ourselves into gratitude just for the presence and the moment of being alive in this moment of this time here and now. Where I am, it's pretty safe, right? I'm not in Ukraine or Israel or Sudan or everywhere, right? I'm not anywhere where danger's happening. So praise God. I pray you're safe as well. So from this point in this moment of recognition that, okay, praise God, we did that. Thank you. Gratitude for the day, for the being. Now, from here on, how do we want to live? That was one of my notes from the men's group this morning. One of the questions that stood out. How do you want to live this lifetime? This one, right? You've already lived the past of this lifetime, but you've still got more to go in this one. So how do you want to live this lifetime? How do you want the rest to turn out? What do you want to become? What do you want to experience? What do you want to achieve? If you don't know the answer to that question, if you don't know how I want to live this life, I encourage you, spend a little time in reflection and silently ask yourself, get a journal out, make some notes. Ask yourself, well, seek the heart. Ask your heart. These sound cheesy, may not. You won't know unless you try it. And even if it does feel a little weird, so what? You're talking to yourself, and you're talking to yourself with the care of figuring yourself out. And you know what? While I'm at it, let's carry this out in relationships, right? In relationships with other people. Sometimes there's tough conversations that need to be had. You see people making mistakes and stumbling, maybe even self-sabotage or hurting someone else. Someone's betraying a marriage, right? You got a good friend who's stepping out on their vows, stepping out on their family. You know, sometimes we're placed in these positions where we have the opportunity, perhaps a moral responsibility. It is an opportunity to have an uncomfortable conversation. And if you've got people around you that you've got to have an uncomfortable conversation, I encourage you to do it. Maybe ugly, maybe clumsy, but as long as you can ideally stay detached from the outcomes that you're hoping for, but know that the truth is the only thing that matters, right? So it could be too that you're finding offense in somebody and you haven't spoken up. Could be that you're wrong. Could be that you're misunderstanding too. So the best way to know is through communication, it's through dialogue. But I know in my own past, I know I'd prevent myself from speaking up. I was afraid. You know, it happened I spoke up when I was a kid a few times, and it brought some painful memories. So I had these internal memories in my subconscious that prevented me from speaking up. Actually, prevented me from doing a lot of things. There's so many years. If I was so insecure about talking with others. Number one, it was if you're a stranger, I really didn't want to have anything to do with you, and let alone have a conversation with you. But if I had to, or if I did, okay. But as long as you weren't an attractive woman, holy shit. If I tried to talk to an attractive woman, I was in such fear, man. And I had these fears within myself of authority. Even as a young adult, man, I'd meet people's parents, and as an adult, I still had this psycho loop in my mind about I had fear of the adults and older people and authority and wealthy people and beautiful women. Man, if you're dealing with insecurities in your life, holy cows, I got way off topic on there, didn't I? But I'll finish it up. If you're dealing with these insecurities in yourself, brothers and sisters, these ideas of low self-worth, it's time for you to go reevaluate, right? And if you reevaluate yourself and honestly you see maybe you're not worth a lot, maybe you're not really sharing much into the community, maybe you're not really contributing as much with the family or the work or wherever it is you're going. Maybe if you're honest, maybe you're not doing as much as you think. But the idea is let's all of us help ourselves and help those around us. We can all help each other to mature, to grow up, to examine ourselves, right? And we can help each other examine ourselves through having, some of the tough conversations. And that's actually why I've really admired some of the people I've met here on the YouTube streams. These are words I'm saying that these were lessons I had to learn, having difficult conversations, perhaps. But I've been practicing as well, trying to remain more stoic. Obviously, I'm improving, I'm growing, and I know people are seeing my growth just like I'm seeing my growth. But this is what we're here to do. We're here to grow. We're here to develop, to become more refined, to become greater versions of who we were in the past. And it may be tough for you. Maybe you are like me similarly. Maybe you've been working on yourself as well. And maybe people around you have been resistant to accepting your change. That's been my story. I started growing, started really changing, and then some people stopped looking, and other people, I don't know, they seemed unwilling to accept the fact that I have changed. This is what has helped me to learn about myself as well. I used to make those same choices. In my past, I used to jump to conclusions. I used to carry a lot of chips on my shoulder. I had a lot of expectations of others and myself. Because of my expectations, man, my expectations were so misplaced. Here's what I want to offer to you from my own personal experience too. It's the difference between being holy and being religious. I mean, if you think about that in your mind, imagine a holy man, a holy woman, or a religious man, a religious woman. Do you see the distinctions between the two? I mean, I know in concept they're both the same, that one should lead to the other. I have the goal within my heart. I wanted to become a more holy man. Well, you can too. And it's easier than we think. To be holy is to be set apart from this world. Well, like we talk about often, this world is corrupted. This world is corrupted with secrets and lies, with excuses and blame. Excuses and blame, secrets and lies, those create all those divisions and oppositional forces, and then there's no peace to be found. You can rise above it. Starting today, I assume, but I don't know. Every one of us is on our own path, but I trust that should you choose to reevaluate yourself and the world you see, I bet you could allow yourself to rise above. I believe if you, within yourself, in your own privacy, your own way, whether that's in nature, next to a lake, next to a brook, if it's, sitting in a quiet place in your home or someplace safe, I encourage you to go within yourself and seek God. Seek the creator of love. How about that? Or the source of love. Seek the source of love. But use your mind carefully. Things are not always as they seem. And to really know the source of love, I'll give you the secret. It's right there within you. That's your source of love. Now, the gateway to your love, that's up here. So the idea is to unite, right? Bring your mind into your heart. And from a place of humility, grounded in the present moment of your beingness, with your mind in your heart, and a little bit of humility, I encourage you. Seek the divine. Whatever words that work for you, but ask for the strength. These are my prayers. I'll share mine. Give you an idea. Use it as you wish, but I seek the Father, please, Lord God, in all your infinite wisdom, generosity, your infinite grace, your divine bliss. I seek the answers. I seek the strength. Not for me, but for the world in which you created and from which I live. Lord, I seek your guidance. I listen for you in the silence. And I do pay attention to that small, still voice from within. You have that small, still voice within. And in the past, the world has been preparing you. God has been preparing you. The universe has been preparing you for today. And today, you get to decide what direction you take from here, right? Just like every day, you get to decide what direction you take from here. And but so why not seek a intimate personal relationship with the infinite intelligence that moves us? I call it God. I know the way that I came to know my faith was from the stories, through the teachings, and actually many of the different discussions I've heard regarding Yeshua, Jesus, right? His way was the way, truth, and love. Those free us. Those are the essence of life, truth and love. Yes, everyone has a little bit of truth. Everyone has a little bit of love, but it can't be misleading. It's got to come together. It's got to balance. It's got to be cohesive with what is. So we don't have to do much in our lives. We really don't. I mean, if you want to live, well, you do need to eat and do the basic hygiene and nutritional stuff. And if you want to live, ideally you want some comfort. So that would include some shelter, and sustenance, some continuing access to resources. Those are the things that if you want to live, you get to find a way to have those. Because right now there's a lot of people alive, skin suits, meat suits like you and I are wearing, but they're probably not tuned in. There's a lot of men and women and children alive today, right now, who don't have the access to the water, clean water, the access to the food that their bodies require them to continue living. I mean, brothers and sisters, we are alive today, 2024. 3:33 on my clock. Praise God. See, the angels and the spirits, they always bring these little synchronicities, just the right time to show that they are with us. They are here with me. That's what I find from the patterns that I see in the time and the numbers. And our God is so mysterious. I assume all of our lives are designed similarly, right? Where doing good rewards us with good feelings. Um, you know, where discovering and learning new things, helps us feel a little stronger, a little better. We all have these similar behaviors and patterns to us as human beings. We live at a time right now where it is, if I didn't have faith in God, I'd be terrified, sincerely. Looking at the forecast for economics and the climate of war, wow, there's a lot of insanity going on. There's a lot of insanity. It's like people aren't listening to each other. Many places I go, people are not listening to each other. Watch on the news. I mean, look at how many people are getting active in the protests, demanding ceasefire and all of this. And the U.S. representatives still playing these stupid games, political nonsense. Oh man. Oh, where I would love to have a conversation with the people in the United States government responsible for the diplomatic path regarding Israel and Russia and these other nations. But praise God, God knows my prayers. God knows my heart, knows my dreams, and I trust God knows what I can handle. Have you ever wondered what you can handle? This is kind of a different thought. Maybe I'll swing back to that. We don't really know how much we can handle until life brings it forth, right? Because we've never lived our lives before. We've never experienced 2024 to the extent that we have so far, right? We don't know how much we can handle until we make it through. Right now, brothers and sisters, there's a lot of suffering in this world. Hopefully it's not you, but there is a lot of suffering and a lot of pain going on in this world. Most of it is due to confusion, widespread confusion. Confusion and humans, what that does is it creates the fear. And then when people are fearful, they get angry, and all the anger results in craziness like Joe Biden and Donald Trump as options. That's just insane. Brothers and sisters, when is enough enough? I mean, I was just reminded that it's not that far away. November, we're going to go through this pageantry of another election, and we can't find better candidates than the nonsense the mainstream media is throwing around. Holy cows, holy cows. We get to try and change the world in as little or as much as we want. We get to choose what directions we place our energy, our attention, our resources each day. We get to choose that. We get to choose how much effort, how much attention, how much resources we offer towards X, Y, Z, different things. We get to choose. How do you want to live this lifetime? Myself, I do. I played with the idea, and only God knows what I'm capable of, but I did. I set the goal to become more of a holy man. a gentle man, a kind man, one who may not be like most of the world. I set the goal to set myself apart, to become more one with, well, with the holy. I don't want to be one with the anger and the bitterness. I don't want to be one with the shame and the resentments. I don't want to be what the world has generated me to be in the past. See, I said these words I'm talking about, these are words I'm living. I'm sharing my experience. These are things I did. I set the goal for myself just to be better, better than I was. And I keep improving. I'm proud of what I've been growing into. I am proud of what I have overcome in the past. I know I've still got some growth to go. But in my journey, what I've been practicing for myself is what I've been talking about. Pausing in the midst of the chaos, in the midst of an emotional breakdown, when I'm angry, when I'm afraid, or I want to cry, right? When I'm hurt. I've been practicing, and I've had plenty of opportunities. Please believe me. I've had plenty of opportunities to practice. So I pay attention. What I suggest, I pay attention to what's going on in my mind. I don't want to be trapped in my mind. I want to live. I want to live freely and honestly and authentically with the world. I trust that God will guide me, and I want to live honestly and authentically with whatever the world brings me. Now, I choose where I bring myself. I don't choose what the world brings me, but I choose and I own where I take myself. And so I choose to be here today, filled with the faith, the joy, the love of God, the love for God, the love for life, the love for love is how I am. And here we've got, let me check. We've got a guest in the back, and I'm going to bring up in one moment. There's one last thought I wanted to get out about love. I was thinking about this morning. how much I love and how much I long for those who I love. So my original path was with my son, then I turned it to God, right? I long for God in my life. And then I realized that absence, that lacking, that's my own imagined creation. So then I recognize and I move beyond, and I think about what it means to have God in my life. Because the truth is, I do. I will always have my son in my life. For you who have lost people, for you who are separated from others, you will always have them in your heart. So if you want to imagine an absence, so be it. Hey, let me stop the delay and welcome Brother 𝕍𝕚𝕤𝕚𝕠🠦. How you doing, brother? Are you there? Did I lose you? Thomos snop. All right. Well, give me a heads up when you're back, I guess. What is going on here? I'll come back. Okay. Are you there, brother? Oh, that's what he was saying. He'll return later. Gotcha. Thank you, my friend. So here, to bring this, like I said, I started my morning with a faith-based men's group. Um, so I'm, well, maybe he's back. Try this again.
Is that the audio thing? Yeah, it's the thing where
Yes.
you got to leave and come back. I
Thank
had
you.
just been over at your daddy's stream. I thought he muted me and turned me down and stuff. Um, I was doing another pushing the rock eternally uphill by trying to literal with snafu.
Oh, good
Yeah,
luck.
and I was even asking myself in real time, why am I trying to literal with you right now? Because it was all the season one stuff. Uh, they're watching me. They can't say my address. You know, the kids, the math, all that stuff.
Oh, that's right. I did
Yeah.
hear some of that.
Oh,
I
you hear it every day, Jack, unless you quit paying attention.
well, I
It's
don't. I actually, sorry, I don't give that much attention, but I did. I did,
well,
admittedly. I turn like I don't want to falsely represent because I said I don't give much attention, but I did
no,
turn it
that's
on
what I'm
just
saying is it's
earlier.
not a false represent. Now it's a tool where you can be like, who's really still on that tip? You know,
Yeah,
like, are they really still standing on this? Like that was season one stuff. Um, but I'm glad you corrected the heart versus life thing. Like we all carry someone in our heart that because they will never life again. Uh,
yeah.
like I still want to do a showcase of a couple of my dead friends from back east that they did good things until they weren't here anymore. And they probably don't even know what they meant to me, you know? Like, I got a friend that was a really good blues musician. He's got a page on YouTube still. And when his dad was a Vietnam vet and died and left him like 250 grand. And my friend was like big. He was that kind of like blues traveler looking guy. And he was on a waiting list for this heart surgery he needed. He was 2 weeks away from that heart surgery when he died. So it's just one of like he died rich and 2 weeks out from the surgery needed. So that's one of my people that's somewhere in my heart usually. And he opposed me a lot too. He wasn't the strongest of the faith havers and things like that. He was a successful blues guy because of a lot of the downs in his life with substances and women and stuff. But he was that like everybody's friend guy at the same time. Shout to Harold Liller. If anybody can find it without me doing the show yet. I
Hey,
think he's only got like 5 songs on
here,
YouTube,
let
but he
me,
did use.
Tom. Let me participate, please. What you you said something about they may not have recognized how much they influenced you. I was considering those thoughts earlier today too. A lot of us, and actually humbly from this experience recently, I've received feedback from some viewers who they've shared that they've really felt influenced by what I've been doing and what I've been sharing.
And
We're grateful.
let's not say influence because of how the current media is using the influencer term. I think I could just say like what they meant to me personally, like their friendship. Because I mean, he didn't influence me to falter in my faith, but I know he wasn't the biggest God person, you know. Um, but I think we're still on the same page. Just in this day and age, don't forget where some words are going. I'm an influencer. Really? You don't
No,
change any of my decisions. Not you, Jack, but when I hear people say I'm an influencer, really, what investments have you steered on me? What lifestyles do I change because of you?
well, there is something to be said. I mean, we do. That is what I realized is we may not immediately realize, and we may not ever realize how much something we do affects someone else, especially
Yeah.
when it's good. You know,
Mm-hmm.
here's something, and I recently had an experience like this. Um, I've had people in jest or joking, say kind things about me. And then the more I think about them, I'm like, holy shit, that is true. Kind of is real. All right, I can grow into becoming this.
Have you ever done that with the not so great things people say?
I used to. Yes, thank you. I used to
Because
badly.
here's the thing, I think there's some things that some of us can admit to easier if they hear us admit to it. And I see some things in you that I also see in me where Paul Enslaved has definitely affected the language people use. Like, and that is a reflection of narcissistic abuse. Where whenever I just got here a few minutes ago and you're speaking your thing, I got that vibe of like, are you trying to convince us or you? And a lot of those things you're saying about yourself is what Paul spent a year telling you you're fucked up about, you know? Like, you're not this, Jack, you'll never be that. Now you have a subconscious thing of you have to acknowledge and verify this stuff. And I'm the same way. When I go battle him, I'm watching every little word I use because that's what narcissists do is they'll wait for you to slip up on a word and they'll cling to it and say, oh, but you that's your own words. Your own words.
This is what I realized. Narcissists is what I call the ego. We've all got these tendencies of these patterns. And what the tendency is, people trapped in their mind. And so to stay in the mind, they argue over words. And that's why what you're talking about. There's certain people, it's like you're around a word police. And that's kind of what that panel is sometimes. You got to walk on eggshells and speak perfectly
Right, because
accurate.
they're trying to take a word that some of us may be varying the definition of, and they'll take what they want to say you are, and it's like, oh, that word you just said proves that you're the thing I want you to be accused of.
It's
And that's why we have to have the open discourse. Like, I've tried to be like, oh, let me step back and change the terms so you might get what I'm trying to say. And we have to leave room for that, as opposed to like, nope, I'm gonna latch on to that statement, we'll backstage you and settle on that. I win.
well, yes, public or not discourse, conversations, communication. It can be challenging, and this is what the interesting. It's a paradox. It's like we are such we are so conflicted, each and every single one of us within ourselves, because we want both. We want everything and nothing. And we are social animals. We do crave in-group acceptance, but and just as much as we crave food, it drives people mad to be socially isolated. And this is why one of the reasons I'm so for prison reform, because locking people in isolation just repeatedly in long periods, man.
Oh, hold up there. Hold up. I don't want to interrupt you, Jack, but
Go ahead. Go ahead.
there's effed up things to our justice system, but there's a lot of people that keep getting themselves locked up, and you don't know a lot of those people, but
Fair enough.
you
Fair.
might in the future. Um, but just for Queen of Swords, if you can share that Queen of Swords about no real narcissist, I don't try and change narcissists. I'm as in the Paul aspect, I'm just trying to be a voice that it's like if we all just walked away and new people came to him, the cycle would start all over again. And it's just this awareness that sits here for those who would look into it can just get an early warning. But if people can go into and out of narcissism, I don't think her comment is entirely accurate. I wouldn't waste time trying to change them, but we know that people can become narcissists or fall out of being.
People can change. Absolutely. And I believe the best way for people to change is for them to see their behavior. And that's
But that's what reinforces Queen of Swords. The reason it's so hard for narcissists to change is that's what they can't do. They cannot self reflect on their own behavior.
right. Yeah.
And that's why I thought Paul was a hypocrite for so long. Till I remember, oh, wait, no, he's not a hypocrite. He just doesn't realize he's speaking and doing the opposite because he can't self reflect.
He can, but well, that's interesting. I believe he can. I believe he's probably unwilling.
Well, you
He's not.
believed you could be a thing with him too, repeatedly. And I hope that ship has sailed by now.
Well,
Because
yes,
it's not that you're fucking up, Jack. It's like it's not that you're not good enough to team with Paul Enslaved. It's like show me one thumbnail of ridiculous faces over bad situations that wasn't at one time somehow teamed or aligned with him or co-creating. All his enemies used to be like cool with him. But then now in the present, they were all always shyster loser failures trying to manipulate him once it's passed. Just like Pizer used to be supportive trans bit of Lauren De Laguna. Now in the past he was just always an F word trans person, with his homo issues. And I just
he's
how many
been.
times will we loop it?
Hey, I'm a fan of Pizer. I think he similar to you, but the focus on him. I think
Yeah, I
he's
like
been.
Pizer.
I think I don't think he's been given the credit he's really earned for some of his characters and impersonations. He's done some great things, similarly to you, Tom. But
Well, that's why I was trying to bring him out of that little funk he came back to us on. I was like, Pizer, the last time we interacted, we both were on Machine Lies and we put it to Paul tag team style, had Paul running like a little bitch. And I was like, Paul was like pasting that to assault and abuse Pizer when he came back. It was the same narc manipulation, abuse. First I'll abuse you, then I'll console you. It's all okay as long as you remember I'm daddy. And I'm sick of that. See, nobody ever says, don't you get it, or I'm sick of it as much because he ran both into the ground. And as we speak, he's over there trying to convince Snafu that Snafu is like this. I'm like, Snafu, he doesn't really appreciate your videos. We're making fun of you, right? And he won't allow the charade to stop long enough if Snafu ever has a chance of being a sane person. Like, Snafu, they don't really like your song. Your video does suck. Can you not see this? And then he just goes, meth pedo, meth pedo, meth pedo.
hey,
It's fascinating, Jack.
yes, and Tom, what the thought that just came to mind is you're another one who is pretty good at having those difficult conversations, saying the ugly things. You seem to say it pretty easily. Um, hey,
I feel like as one of the more known LARPers and whatever you want to call it, that's why I'm like, hey, I forgot there's people out there that maybe aren't reading these layers, and occasionally let's just literal it all out so we're not secretly creating some mass bang bang in a dark room that doesn't realize the game versus the facts versus the fellowship. Uh, get over on Paul. He's light work. This is what I was telling Queen of Swords. It's not about me and Paul. It's about, do you see when you watch me and Paul? Don't you get it? And because it can't be literal all the time. And I'm thinking maybe there needs to be a break for literalism. Venus Cupcake. I'm glad you're here because I was sitting over there like, is that Venus Cupcake? Venus Cupcake? And it's the both Venus and Cupcake is one word, no emojis, no picture. Be aware of that person.
hey, this is an interesting perspective from Nude Guru. Is it of ego when we are focusing and wanting others to change, with the exception of if they are causing harm? So in this case, the context of the topic, Paul, he's not necessarily causing direct harm, and so is it egoic on the want and desire for him to change? Is it perhaps just a projection, reflection, and distraction from self-responsibility? I
Oh,
can
that's
see that.
bit non bit is avoiding all responsibility.
What's that?
That bit non bit thing is how he's avoiding all responsibility and
It,
accountability.
but this question is related to the others of us, outside of him. What is our intention, and what is the lesson for us? Because I would say that some are spending effort and time focused on not just Paul, but Paul does it elsewhere as well, focused on criticism and hate rather than really focusing on improving But
Yeah, I could get hung up for a long time off discussing just that wanting others to change. That is
yeah,
like the big part of it. Do we even try? Do we just go away and let them be them and know that we can't invade that much of manipulating who they are? Do you try and show them a detrimental thing? Do you find in yourself why it's you that can't deal with how they are? And it's all context of who we're talking about. This is why existentialism is a hell that you must keep going. You can't just sit there in it. You must keep going.
well, it keeps going. We must simply be. That's the path I've figured out. The world is going to continue, and I just have to be. For me to be, it's actually very simple. I just do whatever I want to get
Ooh,
done.
very hedonistic.
Well,
You're getting influenced by that Talcott collection, the hedonistic Jack.
I it's an interesting balance. I mean, some of these some of the different philosophies, there's overlap and kind of, well, convergence and just opposition between some of them. So I don't know. I don't know where I stand, but what I hear, I'm not hedonistic. I'm not nihilistic. I do. I do.
Endless bliss of your groin is available, Jack.
No, see, I'm moving beyond the groin. I'm moving into the other physical and mental pleasures that are
So
available.
you found the elevator button on that chakra thing. And you're finally gonna like up a floor or two from the groin bliss.
Yeah, pretty
Cool.
much.
Hey, I catch a lot of poop for claiming this celibate thing too.
Hey, that's it. You got to raise your mind from your groin up into your heart.
Do you know how you get closer to God and tap spirituality? It is from denying yourself everything this physical body would rather sit on the couch and experience or hedonistic into. And it's funny when I say this, my biggest use of meth is what helped my body comfortably deny food and various things. And then when that drug wore off, I was halfway there to like reaching the spirituality of denying your flesh. And I thought I was almost on a different drug when I was really, oh no, I'm tapping that thing because I haven't been eating. I am in pain and I'm just like, who cares? I'm denying my body. And this is why when you get closer to death as an old person, it is easier to reconnect with God closer to death. Because do old people sleep much? No. Do they eat much? No. Are they in pain? Probably. And they just get over it. And as you near death, you're getting back in that. If you're not just randomly getting hit by a car or shot or something, you're getting closer to God as you're reaching your perishing time. Unless you don't buy in all that stuff, and then you'll just go to hell.
Well, here, where my mind went with that is some of the lines that I've embraced. Our God is for the living, right? And it is here for us, and we are here to know it. And that can
Unless you
happen.
don't.
Well, you're
That's
right.
that free will thing. Like,
Free will.
he's not saying Allah bend the knee. He's saying, man, I hope you show up.
You're right. And so each day we get to choose, despite what the past brought us, and despite what the current conditions may appear. Each day we get to choose, what are we bringing? What are we bringing to this world? Are we bringing resentments and burdens? I have to do this and I have to do that. Are we bringing some illusion that we've got some control? They should do this and they have to do that. Or are we bringing the divine essence of the authentic, person who we are?
Well, our long game work, Jack, is I'm not going to let up on trying to get you to separate this. You'll start on the God thing, and then as soon as you like this world, it's like, no, this is the thing that is working against what we said we're here. Like that, I hope you show up, God says. Everything about this planet is trying to distract or abstain you from that. And that's why you can't love this world. It's better to hate this world and be ready to kiss it
All
goodbye.
right.
Because it's a fragment of an eye blink in the grand scheme of eternity.
Okay.
But because of your physical body sleeping and waking for 75-ish years, I like the Chris Rock thing. Don't ever let people tell you life is short. Life is long, especially if you make a bad decision. But really, on that deathbed, it was all just the buzzing of flies. Did you just wrench Rose the fuck up?
I did. I didn't even ask.
Wow. You know, she's a small hat.
Didn't I? It's okay. She's one who shares and contributes, and I trust
Oh
you.
no, she's a gem. She's a gem. But that's why I like her, because she's not only open to shape like civil shape discussion, but as
Yes.
a small hat, she's like, okay, let's hear about the Jesus thing. She's like, if that's true, I hope I come around to that.
Actually, Rose, I was thinking about you earlier.
Rose is so civil and polite that it even drives me to go, are you fucking with me right now? Is this a bit?
She's
Are you fucking with me right now with your acceptance?
it's amazing, isn't it? It's like on it's confusing. But it's not confusing. It's admirable.
Can a
And
wrench time out monkey in training? He's obviously new. I'll never be buddy buddy. I will only civil to be able to speak. Get out of here, monkey in training.
here, I'll be kind.
Time him out. Don't ban him. Just time him out. Give him
Yep.
a little slap on the wrist.
Holy cows. Holy cows,
And
man.
and can you help me get Z back on track? I love when people say open civil discourse. Not so much when I'm held in their backstage for all time. Like, oh yeah, open civil discourse. I'll just sit here in the backstage longer.
Where was this?
Over
Z?
on Z's channel. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I kind of like how he moderates and administers how he runs his show.
No, that's what I'm
He's got
complaining
some
about.
talent.
This is how he's a chip off his old daddy, is no one knows he's holding people in that cell while projecting, oh, civil open discourse. Like, well, I wish there was a way that your
Well,
backstage was shown in a list on the side of the screen or something.
yes, I could understand that, but Tom, in fairness, in defense, sometimes you make discourse very challenging for others because you dominate.
But I think while that notion goes around about me, this is the discerning thing. It's like, yes, there's a time we're just razzing around doing bits and being like ornery, but a lot of the time I'm removed is because they don't want to hear what, like recently on Flow State, he attempts to have another biblical discussion of Christianity on his panel, and he can't handle the first thing out the gate where I'm like, God's not doing this, we are letting it happen as humans on this planet. Like, stop blaming God. And I'm cut off halfway to not be returned because there's more cult of personality than truth seeking. He couldn't have Lindsay be corrected. Lindsay's incessant questioning must go on with no answer. Is Mr. Pie in the back?
No, no, he's not.
I know he's the type that would chat that. I know.
Holy cows. See, you
Mr.
guys,
Pie brings the type of discourse that it's like in the back is not how you handle it. He's like too passive for the backstage.
I'm a fan of Mr. Pie. I'm a fan of many people. I really am. And here, well, actually, it goes with the goal that I set for myself. It
Are you going to
feels
share that goal?
to be for lack of a better word, to be more holy, to be more, I don't know, more kind, more faithful, more patient. And
Patience
I,
is good. Like the kind thing, there's people that would act like I'm not kind and this and that, but it's like, you know who is really nice? Like child grabbers. They're very polite, nice people. You know who was civil to talk to? Small Mustache. You sit down and
sure,
have a civil discussion with Small Mustache. I
that's a
think
good
we have
point.
put a lot of weight on just civil uh, project or civil action that makes you look polite and nice. Where that's how they get under the radar on.
You're right.
'Cause the
You're
reason
right.
I like to be like me is someone can come up here while I'm not here and say I'm out talking a bunch of shit about you, and you might be like, but he said worse stuff than that to my face. Why would he be behind my back saying that? So then you might not buy into something someone's trying to convince you. Like you may think I'm an asshole, but I'm not hiding from you and being an asshole. I'm always upfront about how I'm an asshole. You might
Right.
say I'm an
Well,
asshole. I'm not a fucking asshole.
true. Um, you've been. I like you, Tom. You do rub some people the wrong way. Figuratively, they just find offense with you, and some people, some people either underestimate you or don't understand you. You are a challenging man to love, though.
I've
At
been
least in my
separated by
experience.
that guy. We both claim to follow the guy that has separated me from my regular life, and I've
Yeah.
accepted that. I actually enjoy it. But there's a cult of personality thing I see from panel to panel. It's like it's not a product of this panel verse, but it is coming in just as regular as it is in life. Like I'm gonna put Cadence on the spot because we've been interacting again recently. Last night I went on my on and again, off again buddy Hoax Wars channel, and I saw this regular thing where it's like I've got business with a couple of millennial boomers. I'm there to handle it, and they're in this mode where it's like we're going to deny all this interaction and what's being said. We just know Tom's here, Tom bad, let's back each other. And I'm like, okay, so it's just I'm here, default to this. And I even see that in Cadence. She's like, so I've harassed her so much on her, the type of girly she is, that now everywhere I bump into her, it's like, I don't need to know what's being said, just Tom bad. And it's like, okay, we're never going to get anywhere with that. And then Hoax War disappointed me because for all the credit I've given him, all he could do was just sit back and watch it. I'm like, Hoax War, what happened to your channel? What happened to this? And then, oh, wouldn't it be an unknown name that says Sober Tommy? Not only can no one ever provide a drug test on me, but now unknown doesn't even want to identify themselves. That's the height of credibility, if you ask me. Ooh, triple mirror action, Jack. What are we doing right now?
I'm I'm amazed. I'm fascinated.
Oh, are we
The
watching Paul? I
Well,
thought you were watching your own channel. You would do something like that.
no, that's Paul watching
Yeah,
us.
I noticed because I haven't been able to see the tribe since I put it to his pedo ass, and this is the first time in like a year I can see one of his chats. Same old tribe.
Well, you see his poll too. I mean, he's just a dick. Will Slave Cot get evicted? Yes or nope? Someone will enable him again.
This is
Fascinating.
another thing that confuses me about this community is people are strongly speculating. I don't get this agent thing. That's what looks narcissistic is to think that our daily shenanigans on these online Zoom calls warrant government agents to come and do a thing about a thing. And through those actions,
Right.
we must take a
It,
Talcott,
it's
have him LARP
clear.
that he's going to be
Hey,
evicted
Tom.
because it does what? It affects us how? To change what?
Right. There's clearly no need for federal agents because it's quite obvious and apparent that most people don't, they're not
Oh,
thinking
here's the layer though. Here's how we
what
get them,
they're
Jack.
doing.
Right when you're about to get evicted, they don't know you'll really have a way to live somewhere, and that changes what? It's insane. Like CBO used to say, "Oh, Tom can never be alone. If Tom was alone for 5 minutes, he'd self-delete because he can't." Do you realize how deep of a LARP Paul is in between what he started as, how to say, "Oh, when I effed up, I meant to do that,"
Hey,
and what
can
has
we move
become?
off from this? I'm so
But
sick
you
of.
just showed that he's watching us.
I
This is how
know.
he'll hear us. If he's
You know what? You're
watching us,
right. This is my fault. So please wrap up and
no,
let's.
there's no fault. It's just still going. What we do, it's still rolling like it ever has, Jack. Do you think because you put yesterday fun and leisure panel, that's what it turned into? Do you think
No,
Flow State bitching about the
Tom,
Fed was
Tom,
fun?
no. Here's the deal. I'm here again with the hope of sharing my purpose, which is we can discuss God, we can discuss ideas of consciousness regarding limiting beliefs of have to or the empowering beliefs of we get to. I mean, I'm here to share this sort of thing. And I pray each day that, you know,
If
the
you're
universe brings
praying,
support.
oh, tribe, don't ask what I was saying about you. That's why you've ignored me for a year. You can't handle it. But if you're praying for, let's say you're praying for me, Jack, and I'm praying for you, and we both have different ideas of what that is, are they conflicting? Are they a power force pushing back and forth on each other? Is God deciding which one of us is the rightful prayer to answer? And when you say your goals or your purpose, have you ever heard the saying like hobbies are for people that pay their bills or that are like independent? Do we not have a purpose until we don't need each other? Do you have to be fully independent just to have a purpose to go after?
The purpose is revealed, it's chosen. We can do whatever we want. I mean, you can choose a different purpose for this moment, a different purpose in the next moment. Each
I
moment can
can't.
have a different purpose. But the
Well,
main
that's
goal,
kind of OCD or what's the opposite of OCD? Attention deficit.
well,
What was
the
your idea, Rose? Can we have Rose up? You want to have Rose up?
Rose is absolutely.
In honor of the new wrench? Let's have her on up. Come on up, Rose.
She is of course welcome, and others are
Oh,
welcome as well.
tribe, you may find relevance in using my name. Go back to your daddy already. Fucking pedo looking Florida man. Like,
I
Tribe is
love
the
that.
most irrelevant person to ever revisible himself to my account. Like, you're nobody, Tribe.
What? I
I'm
think
sorry it conflicts with your love and peace for all, Jack. I could never coexist with Tribe. I'd break his jaw.
I
Just
think
like
he's
I couldn't be neighbors with his daddy. I couldn't be neighbors with Snafu. I'd be on the news.
I think he's I think he's kind of special.
Yeah,
Try-
the small bus special. He thinks that if he puts his subtitle understands success. Really, Tribe, you just excrete success when we watch all your interactions. He's a you know that guy was a loser and he comes to
Tom,
project. I'm sorry, Jack, I'll digress. I'll digress. He's old school cult. He's season 1, maybe pilot cult.
um, Tribe Tribe is another man. I believe he has a good heart, and his mind has
Such a
wild
bully.
sharp.
You didn't make it back to your daddy's channel. Save that such a bully for your daddy's channel, Tribe. You ain't shit. You hid for 6 months and now you think you can just wipe that and come back fresh with your hostility. You're nobody, Tribe. Come at me. Come at me on my channel, Tribe.
Here. Okay.
Fucking loser, man.
I want to offer this further question. I don't understand the title of this stream. It's really it's intended to be a question for your perspective. How do you see the world? Where is your consciousness at? Do you believe you have to engage with others, or do you believe you get to engage with others? Do you
That I think that's like the way I say slavery is dependent on the master and slave cooperating. I think it's kind of like that's kind of like the same thing as what you're asking.
I'm sorry, what? The Witcher, what?
Like what he would when you were describing the title, like do we have to or do we get to?
Yes.
Well,
Yeah.
I've very many times said that this horrible act of slavery is still dependent on master and slave cooperating. It's like you might be slaving because you fear your well-being and life length, but you are still choosing to take slavery over the other. Oh, thank
Yeah.
you, Travis. You're only an imposter wrench of the daddy. Like, oh, thanks for doing that. I see you on other channels. No, Travis is a joke.
No. Well, I don't know. You know what? We don't have to have so many enemies.
We do.
Ooh,
I don't know which god you worship, but my god's going to return with a sword, and he's waiting for us all to choose those sides first.
Okay, but is it flesh and blood?
What is flesh and blood?
Your enemies.
I would say we're all those people making our side choices, and some flesh and blood are choosing the side I'm not on. Yeah.
I'm
I mean,
sorry.
if you're cornering me into the we fight not against flesh and blood, it's also how we're acting out our spiritual decisions to be encased in this thing. Tribe, project and narrate harder. I'm done with you. You're a joke. Find someone that's like, no, listen, Tribe. Hear Tribe out. Like you daddied up for too long. Now it's pathetic. You're nobody. You're too old to be doing what you're doing and failing at it. Remember when he was mad, he was in your thumbnail? Like, imagine Paul's thumbnails every day, and Tribe's gonna come at you like, don't put my face in your thumbnail. Self-aware much? What are you typing, Jack?
I'm doing a poll. Feel free to keep the audience going. To keep going.
Okay, I can do that.
If you could, kind of the topic though.
That's what I was gonna say about the dude. I will back that chat up. You do have a tendency to, and you and Machine Lies both do these intricate topic wordings of your subject. It's like, I know those words. I'm not sure how we're assembling them to a thing, and I think about it for a second. Don't judge me. Tribe's thumbnails are the funniest. Like a channel that Tribe makes videos on. Oh man, Tribe, you're so doing the loop. Like he's leaning into the, oh, they said our name. That's your daddy's thing, Tribe. Your daddy's restreaming us. Thank you. Like, who cares? It's because of that stuff that you go over. I'll get kicked by Flow State. Like, Tom was just here to advertise and cross promote. Way to daddy up. It's all narrative that means nothing. We're public Zoom calls.
Right. Hey, I was going to do a poll. I was gonna. Someone suggested it from the.
A poll about Paul.
Yeah.
A poll.
Is Paul a loser for voting on eviction versus bailout? Yes or no? I thought that would have been just a very simple one to do, but I chose to change it, and then I decided not to do it.
Took the high road. Well, and that reminds me, this brings us back to a long-term loop. That just reminded me that he's doing the house or eviction poll back when you first left and we were having the Snapchat calls, was back when all his thumbnails was you getting like carried out of your house on a couch, you living in a storage unit or a tent. He's done it with Machine Lies too. It's like, and then he'll just flip and think he's the savior of humanity. It's such a fucking insane thing that he's helped caricature himself with. And then when he says, Benton, I don't know why you don't want to come up here and debate it. Let's have a debate. Because that's the place no one can debate you, Paul. You are the backstage mod god king.
Oh, right. Actually,
God of all backstage. God of all mod god.
it's not just that, but the ridiculous overspeaking and interruption. I mean, Paul threw that at Z. Why don't you show up here? Why don't people show up? Because Paul doesn't allow conversations. He doesn't even know how, I think.
In the act of him being the only one questioning
Anyway,
it when it's so obvious, he can't self-reflect, Jack. He doesn't understand why nobody shows up. And then when I show up to put it to snafu, he OTWs the clips over it. I'm like, Paul, please.
Right.
Please, Paul.
Hey, thank you. Pause, please. Welcome, Chuck.
Rocky, don't loop. I asked why it matters. You didn't answer. I'm sorry, Jack. I'm getting worked up by some of this chat.
Please
I wanted to bring it back to your subject of your show.
Yeah, cousin, lap dance, blah, blah, blah.
Which was what? Do you have to? Do you want to? Do you need to? You could throw any words in there. And for me personally, I found that I've had some crappy jobs in my life, whether it be a job or a chore to do or anything. I can go in there and I can begrudge what I'm doing and watch the minute hand stand still. Like 8 hours don't ever pass.
No, it's because you let that
minute
battery die and you don't replace it and the clock doesn't work.
The minute I'm trying to contribute here, thank you. The minute I turn my thinking around with the thought and goal of, okay, let me go in here and do the best job that I can do, regardless of whatever the situation is. Time doesn't matter then. And I don't wear that job or that chore or that task as a heavy garment around my shoulders. You know, I go in and I try to hit it with positivity. Then when that day is done, I don't have to carry that weight around with me of how bad I hate my job, how bad I hate doing this. You know, it's a matter of having a positive attitude no matter what it is.
Well, I appreciate it halfway if you could associate what the Bible says about that. But due to my own past, I would ask, is it that you have to overcome your shitty job, or are you denying, realizing you just need to find a job you do enjoy?
Well, when I started off, I had to start off at the bottom doing some crap jobs until I could get myself in a position for a better job.
Hey Chuck.
That's called how it is, yeah.
Well, can you accept the probability that you were lied to, Chuck? That this
about that
what you just said, that you had to start at the bottom and work your way up because that's the only way.
Well, yeah, because I did when I first got in the workforce, I didn't know anything about anything.
Okay, that doesn't matter
until I learned my way.
Right, just like everybody else. And not everybody starts at the bottom. Many people jump into different. Well, you know what? Everyone's got their own path. All I know is that we've been brainwashed and about doing things the hard way. And I actually like the question that Tommy asked, because in those jobs, you know, is it the attitude that needs to change, or are you selling yourself short? And you truly should be dissatisfied by the job you've settled yourself with.
But you have the job. If you don't want the job, you quit. If you're that dissatisfied.
I know. You're a
okay, Chuck, that's what I'm asking. What's the difference? How do you discern between you should hold on? Okay, I'm trying to help you contribute, Chuck. Sorry. How do you discern between I need to be positive about my job or I need to get out of here?
That's a great
You can do both at the same time.
Well, now you're not contributing. You're just cousin lap dance all over again.
No.
So explain.
I've had many different jobs.
Okay, but how do you know? I like that question Tommy's asking. It's an important one. How do you know if you should change your attitude or change the job?
You should always change your attitude. That way the job is not a burden on you. There's nothing wrong with improving your working situation. But if you begrudge what you're doing, you're going to hate it.
Participate. So, okay.
I don't think he's trolling or messing it up. I don't think he sees the loop we're trying to get through. No, I'm
Hey,
saying you're being honest, Chuck. I don't think you're. You don't see what we're asking, because if you accept and love your job and get in that mind state, it contradicts how you would ever know you should have just left because you're mind over mattering a shit job.
mhm.
Like, I know what you're saying. Whenever I was a janitor at a bowling alley, I took pride. They only hired me to clean a whole bowling alley, and I took pride in it. And I had people that were just going there to bowl, being like, "You do a really good job around here," as I'm like cleaning toilets and shit. And they don't know I have hundreds of thousands of dollars in my bank account. And I
Right,
just put
right.
myself in the mindset you're saying. But there came a time that I was like, okay, I got to quit this fucking job.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
And all I'm asking is, how do you know the difference?
If
I
you're
don't think
truly
Chuck
not
knows.
happy in the work you're doing, I've done that. I worked raw construction when I first started working. We didn't have all these fancy machinery. I was out busting
Hedge
up
fund, I
concrete
get
with a
a real like
sledgehammer.
hedge fund manager vibe from you though. You did construction?
Hedge fund? No, not this kid. I might have taught college. I might have been an electronics
Or
expert,
tough.
but hedge fund, no. Finances is not my area of expertise by no stretch of the imagination.
Well, I
Could have fooled
exactly
me.
right. um, the Chuck, the world we were born into, these partial truths, they've made us work a lot harder than we should have, a lot harder than we had to. I don't know about you, but most people make a lot of other people more money. Most workers receive the breadcrumbs, the crumbs that the employer is willing to share. And
Eureka, Jack. This is how we bring it together. So what I'm asking, Chuck, and what you're saying, we have to leave a level of that. Like, I know you want to make change and betterment, but we have to trust individuals to realize for themselves, are you being exploited and enslaved? Do you
yep,
know you could go do better? Because I ain't got time to ask every single person. We hope they can figure this shit out. And then you are free to continue hating this world, because that's how you're going to separate it and get on your God thing, not love this world, like I keep warning you about. It's always going to be a level of what you say. Use that to separate and be in it, not of it.
okay, partially. I mean, yes, I don't really disagree. I don't think I disagree with you, Tom. When I'm
It's
saying
starting to click. It's starting
here,
to click.
we can we rise above. Not you don't fall in love with the world, but you can fall in love with what you can accomplish, right? And that's the whole idea. The treasures that we'll carry on, those are the memories. What are our accomplishments? What good deeds are being done through us? You know? And I think at the end of our lives, we'll be asked a couple of questions. How did you enjoy the life I gave you? And what
No,
did
no,
you
I don't think
do
it's
with
that.
everything I offered, everything you received? What did you do with what you had?
No, you're going to see that because in our faith, Jack, because I know we're the same faith, right? You'll watch your life go through a furnace and we'll see what comes out the other side. Like all the irrelevance, all the unslavedness, it's just going to burn away. And those things you want to do, the good things, the what God wants from you, that's going to survive because it's gold and platinum and silver. And I question myself, like, I don't know how much is going to come out the other side when I think of a couple phases in my life. But like, I think you're the type that it's safe to say, like, Jack, you need to go do the best for yourself. I can't go to a person like Paul Enslaved and say, Paul, do what's good for you, because he's doing that and then some at anybody's exploitation. You're the type of guy, you're so hippie. It's like, Jack, just make sure you're okay before you try and feed the whole town, Like, get your shit squared away and then I'll come help. But and that's what I'm saying about the individuals. It's like there's no advice that just cleans it all up. Because I wouldn't give Paul some advice. He's going to take the most exploitative context of it and roll with it until he can victimize himself all over again. It's to understand too much of these communities is driving me insane to just get it all at once. I didn't realize I ran into 9 hours last night because I was just in that mode people were coming and going, keeping me in this interest and flow. And before I knew it, I was almost 10 hours in. I didn't realize having the windows open in the afternoon. We had gone into a sub-freezing night. I didn't even feel it getting colder. My dog comes up to me shivering, and I realized the reality I'm sitting in because the viewers and participants had taken me somewhere last night, Jack.
I'm not sure.
Derail. I'm just saying, Jack, do you
Right.
see what's been happening since you came to this community? I covered a lot of points in one statement. I do that. But that's what I'm saying. Like, I get your cause and your channel because you do it daily. But do you get it? Like, do you see the community broad stroke thing I'm trying to remind you of here?
I think so.
I know I do, and it makes me look crazy. Speaking of crazy, welcome, Jack Apple, Crab Apple, Ragamuffin.
High fives and high fives, gentlemen.
He throws me off with the visual and then the text. I know his name's Ragamuffin, but it's that apple picture. It makes me go two directions. What is a ragamuffin? Is that a thing? I know it's a word, but what is a ragamuffin?
It's an old-timey word, yes. It's a term that refers to essentially what the world would call a street urchin, a toss away, a throwaway. But what it represents to me is a diamond in the rough, constantly in refining mode by the refiner. It is an embracing of maybe what hasn't been so well and the thought process of what is becoming. All things becoming new. That's what ragamuffin refers to.
And you know what it takes to make a diamond, right?
Oh, do I ever.
Pressure, Jack. It takes pressure. So to become a diamond, Jack, we can't just be like, hedonism, man. You stay soft like that. You get all enslavey. You get like bottom big shape. Like Grimace, not like the good bottom big.
Well, right. To be refined, the pressure creates the diamond. We are jewels. There's a gem within us that through refinement, through the fires, through the lessons, we will purify and grow ourselves.
And that's why I wanted to talk about the other day, Jack. I know we all passed through the other day. It looked like we were giving you shit about the roof situation. But when I think of my unroof situation and how that was some of my pressure for me to diamond, and then you and I have had the conversation before about when is it that we shouldn't help people? We have to understand that problem is theirs to deal. It's like we all think about, I don't want Jack in a bad way out on the street, but then there's, why would we deny you that? Maybe that's the pressure. We're going to have the brand new Jack come back from that pressure time. Like, oh, Jack's back. He's not saying brothers and sisters, man, all the time. He's saying some real, like, deep shit. He's got a cool scar over his eye.
No.
How did you lose your arm, Jack, and you're not worried about it?
No, see, this is the thing. I mean, people have wanted to waste so much time talking about the what ifs of the failures. Well, I would much rather discuss what ifs of success, especially if all we're going to do is fucking talk about it. So the what ifs of success, I'm still knocking on doors. I'm still trying to get answers, exploring what my options are. I'm not done. I'm not even close to
Well, is what I'm saying, Jack, is when we see that you're not necessarily worried about it, because you took kind of offense, but we were just showing up the other day concerned for a guy we regularly talk. And maybe we shouldn't worry about it because you're not worried about it. And maybe we do need to just be like, what are we trying to save the world? Jack will be fine. He's a grown-ass man. And then through us taking that stance, then what can Paul poll about? How can Paul poll about it when we're like, Jack will be fine, whatever?
Well, here's the thing, though, Tom. Admittedly, I don't know. I have faith, and this is what I trust. I trust that this is one of my tests. That I have prayers and I have faith that the right answers, the right solutions will show up. I'm still, like I said, I'm still pursuing all sorts of things around here.
Well, be careful with that, Jack, because sometimes people pray for the right answers to show up, and then when they get to heaven, they're like, God, why didn't you send me the right answers? Like, you cycled answers through your panel 3 hours a day, and you just weren't getting it, man. How else do I send it?
Yeah, I know. Well, so far, never mind. Yes, there's been help and suggestions offered. I've explored and considered many of the things that have been brought up. Where I'm at today is, I'm focused on creating a better world. And worst case, I'll do this while I can. And when I can no longer be on YouTube or in this way, I'll do something different. But
I don't know if you would want to YouTube your experiences, but if you can just keep your phone bill on, you could technically just stream from wherever you are.
Is Jack not freaking out enough?
right, that's the key. I'm not freaking out enough for people.
Jack, will you act like this is a big deal for us, please?
I have.
Oh,
no-
I see that Flo did his regular thing of not understanding what I'm saying and then standing on his misunderstanding.
What do you
no,
think, Tom? That
I
is
was telling-
possible. I just
wasn't-
got here and
I
I haven't
wasn't
been listening the whole time.
I wasn't suggesting Jack be freaking out. I was suggesting, hey, maybe we've all been seeing Jack not be worried about it, and maybe we don't need to worry about it.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, I was misunderstanding you.
Right, just like I was trying to give you and your girl all the answers you're looking for, but you can't handle that, so you booted me out of your show.
I don't
like
want a
godless-
finger in my
like
butt, Tom.
godless hedonist.
I don't know
What?
why you keep. I don't know why you keep telling us that she needs to stick her finger in my butt. I don't want that.
Wow.
I don't understand the analogy. I'm saying
You said
up
you
a
were telling
panel
me
to,
and Katie you have all the answers. I don't know what the fuck you're alluding to.
you set up a panel to talk about God and the Christianity thing. I gave you answers. You couldn't handle it.
No,
You're not
Tom.
gonna wordsmith your way out of that.
If you're determined to misunderstand the situation, then you will, Tom. That's
What
right.
did I not understand
you
about-
were
listen,
martyred for
how-
God. It's not that you
You just
can't
get talking.
ever shut the fuck up and let other people talk. It's that we
Oh,
all hate God so
Jack
much,
Mutt?
and you were the
Could Jack Mutt?
Tom.
Are you done?
Tom.
You let Lindsay do the typical Sterling loop of why God let this. I gave the answer that always stops it, and that's not good enough for you.
It's the same reason I kicked you off the last time we talked about God, because you're absolutely
Right,
determined
exactly.
that
You're doing that.
you're the only one who knows anything. And even though it's not your panel, nobody else needs to say a goddamn thing. You need to talk because you know God.
No, you're doing
That's
the
how you
same
are.
thing you did last time. You got one Christian, 5 people get to take a turn slandering their faith, and then when they get to respond, you boot them. You're a joke.
Well, Tom,
You're a
if you're really
blue-collar
serious
fuckboy.
about defending the faith, maybe you would find out how to not be an asshole and get kicked from the panel.
Now you're going to
You're
loop back to telling
self-indulgent.
me how to be a good Christian when your heart is hardened to what that is. That's why you only
That's
cynically
not
challenge
what
and
he
question.
said, Tom.
You don't
Okay,
want the real
I
conversation.
I don't
That's not what he
care,
said.
Tom. How do I
Exactly. I'm
get you
telling
to
you
shut
don't
the fuck
care.
up?
I'm telling
Do
you
I
you don't
agree
care,
with
yet
you? Do
you'll
I
still
disagree
try
with
to
you?
have a panel to act like you're doing a thing.
Here's the good news.
I am doing a thing.
Kicking people out isn't as easy as it looks, because if you don't watch where you're sourcing your videos from, someone may be able to sneak back into the feed.
Huh?
Hank, I hope we
Okay.
bump into each other again soon. I can't hear you that well. I'm not going
Let
to
me
loop with
hear-
Flow State. I don't like Jack reverting to sharing the most irrelevant chats. I'm trying to do a thing. Jack, I'm like you. I'm trying to do a thing. And like we said earlier, there's a belief and a projection about me, and we're right back to that. Hope to
Yeah,
see
someone
y'all at
tear me
my
down.
place. This doesn't happen at my place.
Yeah,
Because nobody
someone
goes to
tear
your
me
place.
down. Yeah, someone tear me
Yeah, 'cause
down.
nobody's at your
So I'm
place.
just, yeah,
You censor and
I'm
kick.
just saying, kicking someone out isn't as easy as it looks if you don't control your feed well, because somehow people may be able to sneak back into it. You won't understand.
I don't
but
know
the
what
person-
you're talking. Nobody knows what you're talking about, Hank. I don't think.
Oh, someone does know what I'm talking about, but not on. Do not.
Are
over
you
here.
talking to Snafu?
No, not Snafu. I'm talking to someone else right now.
Okay.
I have no
Yeah, any
idea.
idea what's going on, Jack?
No, I started tuning out, to be honest.
I
That's
can
fine.
see you starting to dissociate.
Well,
Yep.
Jack, I did come up here to contribute to your topic. That's all I was trying to do
When have you ever done that, Chuck?
tonight. Hey, look, if I want to lift off of you, Flo, I'll get it off my zipper.
Gay.
Shit, I know that's an old one. But then
Yeah.
again, I am old.
So what was the topic tonight? Or was it?
It was the idea of do you have to or do you get to? And then it was tied with the bring a mindset of positivity, right? Being positive, good vibes, kindness, and positivity.
And that was a problem for the demons.
It's fascinating, yes. I mean, it really is fascinating how these conversations and these panels just, it's like, holy cows, man. I'm grateful.
Well,
What's that?
I just said, well, go on.
Yeah.
That are interesting. I'm all positive most of the time.
I think you are. I think you are pretty much.
Yeah, I am also positive most of the time.
I think you are too. And it's amazing how many people, though, are not. How many people are just consumed with the negativity, the problems, and how quickly those problems they find become problems that they want to share. And it's like, this is what I've literally been watching. This is what, wait, where is she?
I want to respond to Tommy's comment down there in the chat.
This
Tom, the one about cash and quips.
This one?
Yeah. Tom,
But Tom,
here's
you
a-
want to know
here's a-
about me.
okay, Hank's going to address it for me. Go ahead, Hank.
Oh, okay. Let's say does not express a big picture.
Is it a black people thing? You're doing the Joe Cool now.
Right.
Yeah, it's a black people thing. So
Okay, well, go
false.
ahead.
Yeah, that's simply false.
When you start getting the quip response, that's me just sort of nodding and going, and trying not to engage you. That means you're annoying, but I'm trying to be polite about it. That's the cheat code.
Gotcha.
I mean, I was telling Tommy, because he's the one that gets it a lot and doesn't seem to know what it means.
Yeah.
We're just
No.
allowed to come in here.
This is why you're not any kind of thing. I just
That's fine.
left because you brought your usual shallow BS, and then when you wouldn't respond and have a back and forth with me, then you want to sit here and refer to every chat I make. You're not a thing. I get that if you just rolled your channel like that typical YouTube, like verbal combat, we're not real deep
What
here.
would it get for you
So you
to
just cut
shut
me
up
off
right
again.
now?
You just cut
I mean,
me off.
I'm
again.
just trying to figure what is the response that you could get from me that will make you stop talking to me right now. That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Call me a menace.
As you made me an emoji, as you use me for every clip you fill in, and but how do you're doing the Paul enslaved. You say, how can I get you out of my life as I keep associating with you?
I don't want
You're
you
a
all
joke.
in my life. I want you to stop talking to me right now. I just got done working. I don't have the energy for you.
Right. I used to tell you, Flo, before you get on panels, go home, have a shower, change clothes, and you never listen.
Say,
Like you don't have the
I don't feel like
energy
you're
as
in a
you
position to
hit
tell me to
join
wash my
stream.
clothes, Tom.
As you hit join stream, you don't have the energy for this.
I don't have the energy for
Do
you.
you see how you're just as a contradiction as your daddy?
That's fine. I'm a contradiction.
Hey, Tarek.
Okay, and then tomorrow you'll want to have this serious conversation, except not everybody gets to have
It'll be a whole nother contradiction. It'll be crazy.
What'd you say, Hank?
I told Officer Tarek that we have religious freedom in this country. So
Yes,
we can
we
still
do.
play for tarot cards. We can cook stuff in our freaking pots. We can do what we want.
But Hank, this is what I'm saying is driving me nuts. That like my understanding of what's going on day after day is why I'm going crazy. Like Flo
Isn't that
will.
fascinating, brothers and sisters? Holy cows! Holy cows!
Amen,
Okay,
Jack.
the OTW virus has infested this stream. I'll try again sometime.
Thank you, Tom. I
Wow.
appreciate it.
Such insight.
It'd also be fine if he didn't.
Well, each character brings a different spice and a different flavor. And Snafu, not bringing you up, brother. I see you in the body, and you're not coming up today. After the past interchanges and what I've viewed from you publicly elsewhere, I'm sure I'll get texts about how he's reporting me again. But this is just nonsense, man.
That'd be
Yeah.
a bummer to have him have my phone number.
Yeah. Officer Snaps, you do know that your daddy removed all credibility from you on the last show. So if you can't even remember that, then you don't even know what position you're at in this hierarchy.
I get what Tommy was saying. The
With the
constant,
clip.
yeah, using the clip to interrupt the back and forth. And
But
you know,
it's exactly the same tool as the quip. The clip and the quip are the same thing. So if he keeps getting hammered with them, right?
see the signs. Look for the signs. Well, I did want to interrupt because these panels, man, they do get away. They just take off. And I don't know. I know there's a lot of people doing this and doing similar things each day, very similar to me for different reasons than me. Well, and some of the same. I'm not just here. I'm not just here as a hobby or killing time, and I'm not really trying to build a channel or a career, like a revenue stream from this. I'm dead serious about
Uh-oh. Tribe just threatened you again, Jack.
yeah, I see that. And Tribe, you can kiss my ass sincerely. Okay? I do govern my channel accordingly, and you can place all the notices that
I
you
still have that tribe emoji, you know, the custom emoji for my members. I still have it. It's the oldest face picture of anybody that I have for an emoji. It's the original one. Yeah,
from
Easter Island is still the original fucking custom person emoji.
It's perfect.
And it's all because of his crying and noticing, putting on notice. I can't get a fucking notice, Jack. How do I get a notice?
I don't know.
You promote me as a menace.
Well, this is just it. There's been, it seems that so many people have chosen to view me as an enemy, as a nemesis.
A punching bag.
Well, that too.
It's because you and Z have mama energy. Oh God, I sounded like Paul, didn't I?
A little
exactly.
Bit. See, you're
Damn
stealing his words. You're rubbing off on him, and you don't give him any credit, Flo.
He can have that one back. I hope I don't step in it again. But yeah. The
spirit of your mama.
The nurturing nature of Z and Jack combined is greater than the sum of the parts.
No, that's enabling, Flo. That was enabling spirit.
How was that enabling, Chuck?
By overlooking them. Well, Flo, you broke up, or was it me?
It's Flo.
Oh, I was just. I was.
Oh, okay.
I was. Never mind. I could see Jack getting ready to bring the axe down, and I was trying to like kick you first because I kick lighter than Jack does.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but he got broke up. So what were you saying, Chuck?
No, Flo was responding to what I said. I was giving him a chance. Go ahead, Flo.
Well, the question was asked to you, Chuck, to explain your words.
No, I was
You
referring to what
alleged
Flo was
you
talking about. Enabling,
right,
yes.
right.
You
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 alleged
guys
that
you guys were trying to sweep his shortcomings under the rug as if you knew him.
is that what you
That
saw? So you call that enabling?
uh yeah.
Because that's what I'm challenging you on. I don't believe you know what enabling is, or you're just dishonest about me. It's one of those.
I was talking about the paradigm of last night.
Hmm. Well, I
You
think
went
What Flo said was more accurate about how is it enabling when we weren't making excuses for his behavior? We were explaining what our of understandings and assumptions were. The entire topic was to address it for correction, Chuck. So if the purpose is actually for correction, how is that enabling?
Yeah, I don't think it's enabling, but the bad thing is that I have a better idea of what Paul is than you and Z have. So, Flow State has a pretty good idea, though.
Interesting.
Pretty good. Do you think yours is better than mine, Hank?
I'm not sure yet.
I'm just talking shit.
Yeah, but I know it's better than Z's and Jack's.
Oh well.
Hmm.
I mean, you're right. It is, but it doesn't matter. Like, I really don't care. I'm not invested in it.
Oh, you're right.
Obviously, Jack, and there's something going on that I'm just not picking up on with the three of them. I don't know. Let
It's
them
called trust
play.
issues.
No, it's boundary. It's something boundary. It's boundary issues, but I'm not sure of what type and who's in what ways. Maybe not. I don't know. It's all weirdness. But
What
if
I
people want to do weirdness, then that's fine.
Yeah, it's fine.
Well, what I see is, as I've said, and Z was quite. He said it more than a couple times yesterday that we're all people living at this time of life, trying to figure out what is going on, trying to figure out who we are. As I understood from Z, he and I both see Paul as somewhat of a brother in this adventure of life, and seems pretty clear. Well, we discussed. See, and Chuck, you're so insulting and so dismissing of everything good that I do. You know what, Chuck?
I'm sitting here listening with an open mind to have
So
my
you
I
mind
tried.
changed.
say, and so you say, and as soon as I bring up something of you, you start your defense and your loop. So Chuck, you claimed you came here to show support, and you showed your old narratives of who you are, and thank you. You showed who you are. I
Yeah,
didn't find it helpful or supportive for my goal, though.
yeah. The big winner last night, I would say, was Joe Cool. Joe Cool nailed it. So you can go ahead
What
and
did he?
view the show. With Joe Cool was the big winner.
How so?
He hit the target.
If you're going to speak in riddles to people, you have to make sure that your audience cares enough to try to chase it down and actively engage whatever the fuck you're talking about. Because I don't know
Those
what
aren't
you're
my
talking about.
audience. If they're not willing to rewatch the show and feel what Joe Cool said, they're
I'm
not my
not.
audience.
Yeah, no, that's
They're,
not me.
they're not my audience. I don't want them to know.
Okay.
So if you're not willing to watch the Z show to figure out what Joe Cool said,
I
then don't
just
worry
don't
about
feel
it.
like playing Saw. Like, I feel like we're in the movie Saw, you know, and you're leaving riddles around. But
Yeah,
I'm too
actually,
lazy to saw my arm off.
hey, thank you. That's just it. I see Hank playing this idea that he's sitting above, and has it figured out more than everybody else. I just
All right,
heard
I'll just tell
say
you.
that. Right.
I'll just tell you then.
You're
Joe Cool said Paul was Machiavellian. I will come out and say that I'm also Machiavellian, but there is a difference between us still. I have more trust than he does on a general basis. You could call me what's that called? Naive even.
Do you feel like your little fight with Snaps is sort of like kicking a three-legged dog or something?
Absolutely.
Okay.
But
Just curious.
he nipped at my heels, so he gets a kick. Swift kick in the
Okay.
rear.
I mean, I get it. I would probably be responding the same way, except I'd be doing it secretly because I'm embarrassed to be kicking down that much.
I understand, but if we kick any, I'm so low that kicking anyone would give me credibility. So,
Jack, why are you scowling off into the corner?
I'm just dismayed.
Well, that's not what the theme of today.
I get such the world we live in, it's so quick to offer negative feedback. And I've been trying not to do that as much. However, people just seem utterly blind and completely ignorant when it comes to their own behavior. And Hank, I appreciate
That was a
what you're
double-edged claim.
How so?
You don't see how that's a double-edged claim that you just made? People are ignorant to their own behavior.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Anyways,
They're not-
so
They
but
lack
you were going somewhere.
they lack self-awareness. They
I agree.
don't have any clue what they're actually doing. Like Chuck, he keeps showing up in my experience. You know, it's not every day, but often enough that Chuck has become a regular part of my experience. And yet he has no clue what he is actually doing from my life, the way he is affecting me. He has no clue. He has no awareness, and he's just one. Paul is another example. No clue of what he is actually doing, how his behavior is affecting others besides the narrow focus of the mind.
So do I get credit for at least having clue what
Yeah.
behavior is doing?
Yes.
Thank
Hank,
you.
I appreciate you and many others. Many people like me, we have been working on understanding ourselves through the different patterns that psychologists, other scholars have identified. We've been working on ourselves, trying to understand as well. So we are at this point of the world. I'd really like to have evidence, I don't want to misspeak, because I know there's people out there. I know a lot of people are finding value, finding encouragement. I don't know what the future is going to bring, and I don't know what words to offer, but I do know my purpose. My purpose is simply to encourage others to turn to God, have faith in love, and to do what you can in order to grow. I don't know why why so many people think I deserve this consistency of insults and just disagreements. I really don't understand it. But
Do you want to? I can tell you that you're going to be mad.
Yeah, I can tell you too.
Yeah.
Who do you want to hear it from?
Take it away, Hank.
Go ahead.
Okay, I'll say it. So, people think you're talking all kinds of talk, but you're not walking the so-called walk.
Am I responsible for what people think?
No,
that wasn't actually what I was going to say. I was gonna say it's because you're a low cost punching bag.
Yep, my kindness has been mistaken as weakness. My
It's being
patience,
treated as such.
yep, it has been. And I've been trying to figure that out. I paid attention to what you said and some of the signs, Flo, when you suggested that maybe some of the aggression I'm receiving is a sign that I need to become more forceful and more authoritarian myself.
Well, technically, I'm a punching bag too. But the problem is, I'm pretty hard. It's like punching a rock, so I'm not fun to punch.
Well, everybody's punching bags out here, but like Z pointed out, not everybody gets followed around places, but Jack and Z do get followed around places. And that's what I attribute it to, is that you can do that, and then the next day they'll forgive you or try to cupcake, right? Like there's
Right.
not retaliation or door closing there. So
Yeah, which you're right. You're right. I am guilty of, and am I
it's not a guilt thing. I wouldn't call it a guilt thing. It's just you're
responsible. I'm responsible.
well, yeah, sure, everybody's responsible, but you're getting what you're basically teaching. It's, if you look at it in the most basic reward punishment model, you're training people to do that.
I can see how it could be
So,
seen.
but I mean, you can turn around anytime you want. It's a simple problem and it's a simple fix, which is to start to reverse the training enforcement. But yeah,
Jack,
Well,
remember at the earlier in the
speaking
stream
of-
when we were talking about the cult of personality stuff?
What about it?
That's what Flo's doing. It's like I've always told him, dude, you're either missing something or you're late. You don't have this lore. And when he says, "Oh, these two guys get followed around," I'm like, really? Did you have 5 minutes of panel verse recently, or like?
I was
know.
referencing something that Z said last night.
Right.
Right, and I'm constantly referencing a
Are you
2-year-long
are you
big
you
picture.
feel bad that you weren't referenced, that the topic
No,
wasn't
see, this
about
is
you?
Oh, I'm making it all about me.
Well,
I'm
I'm
saying
wondering what you're doing, Tom.
I'm trying to show you what's happening.
All right, please.
Because I've watched Flo on other panels tell me and other people, "Oh, you don't know how to stay on Jack's panel because he's just playing you like a flute, like
I've
Paul does."
never
Like,
said that to you. You don't know how to stay on my panel.
Even still, Flo does
you don't
know
get it,
how
and you're just
to-
capitalizing on not getting it, Flo.
Hey.
This is what you and Paul do. You
Okay,
see the
okay,
truth coming, and you deflect. You interrupt. Jack, you do
I
it
do
too.
it too.
Okay,
Well,
take it away.
thank you.
Say whatever shit
Because
you want,
this is
Tom.
what I said. Here we go. This
Get
is
to
what
the
I said at the beginning of the panel. You're never sure if people really understand what's going on here. Like, I got people that have watched from the shadows and then they come up like, "You're this." And I'm like, do you understand the conversation you were watching? Are you aware of this panel verse and how we're public Zoom calls? Like, it's not me and if me and Goblin talk right now, we're not meeting for the first time. We both know a history between us, and that will be, oh, thank you, Flo. That's how I'm going to shut you down because you don't know what trademarks and copyrights are, you fucking moron. Just
You
like
said
No,
that
I'm
so
gonna
many
shut
times.
you down.
You want
told
me to
that
shut up
like
and get
3
out of your
times
hair
now.
as I'm ingrained in everything you can put me in on your channel. You're shallow blue collar nobody seeking cigarette money. And
Thank you
at
for
least
that
Jack's
next
out here trying to
soundbite,
change the world.
Tom.
So what's your
Oh,
anti-hate plan?
were you
I
about
want
to
know.
condescend?
Okay. Welcome, Goblin.
Did you kick Hank too?
Yeah.
Are you okay?
Y'all having a good day?
I think so.
I am. I just got done working, hanging out with my dudes.
That's what's up.
Tommy's not here anymore.
Tommy's doing his thing.
Hey, tell you what, Chuck, I'm sure you'll find your way to another panel and you can get all the gossip and all the feedback from everybody you want. You know, Chuck, you have repeatedly offered me disrespect. You offer contradictions and disagreements repeatedly in this chat. So today you come up once again to put on the false air and pretend that you're here to support me. And maybe you were, maybe genuinely you thought you were, but I'm telling you, Chuck, you are very confused. You have come to conclusions about me that are false, and you've been spreading false narratives. Sorry, go ahead.
Who? Oh, if you heard me like grunting, I didn't know I was unmuted still. I was like leaning over and reaching for something. I didn't have anything.
Yeah, it's well, this is the interesting part of my life, you know? Legitimately, yes, there is a countdown. I don't know what the future's going to bring. Is it a big deal? No, not really. Everyone runs up to a deadline in their life, but I don't know what's going to happen. I know I'm anticipating this. I realize people do care about me, and their care turns to worry. Their worry turns into anger and frustration, and it gets taken out on me. I don't need people yelling at me or second guessing me, interrogating me because of my situation, right? I'm sure other people
Well, if
probably.
that's
Well, we're
the
gonna need you to
loophole-
need that, Jack. So we're gonna have to intervene until you know that you need that out of us.
Right.
And also, if it's a loop, though, and that's what the outcome of it becomes, doesn't that remove the relevance of why they initially cared, anyways, or no?
Well, this is kind of the thing too. I believe my life could change dramatically in a day if someone will accept me into their life again, right? And I'm knocking on doors, all sorts of people around here in town, and this is what I'm talking about. My life
Well,
could change in a day.
I doubt it will with that external locus of control so strong. That was a strong fucking. Your life will turn around when somebody else accepts that you into their lives. That's
Well, Flo, okay.
a depressing sound.
It is. So, but consider it as a fact.
Why are other people? Why is your life in somebody else's hands? You don't even know who else is. Just not yours. With
Here-
that statement, maybe I
here's-
read it too literally.
All of our lives here, we all have our own authority, our own self-dependence. We've all got those layers, but take it for what it is. It's the truth. We are all at the mercy of God. We're all at the mercy
Agree.
of the world around us. Jesus,
Security is an illusion,
what's that?
and security is an illusion. Like I'm with you.
Right. Okay. But in my experience, I have been the lack of, maybe I'm so forgiving and I'm so quick to offer forgiveness and mercy is because that's something the world hasn't given me. So I understand what it's like. I literally, if I had any other options, I'm still trying to connect with my son. I'm still trying to convince these people in town who said they would help me to help me. Again, I went to the men's group this morning and I'm filled with gratitude and inspiration, but guess how many conversations, right? Nobody fucking talks to me, even when I try and have conversations. And then, it's where I'm at. Strangers don't want to hear about this shit. So
Do you think it's possible that it's not only that people are just caught up with themselves, right, but just the fact of the pressure of the economics that's going on? Do you think that's playing a part in it?
it's the time we're at the pressure is building for those who are caught up in the material ways, caught up in the past, those who don't have faith. Man, it's getting worse. People are getting more insane, and I honestly think those people who found their way on spiritual paths, they're growing as well.
When you like at men's group and shit, when you talk to people in real life, do you hit them with the fire hose of Talcott? No.
No.
Okay, because that would be like that's sort of like high Talcottian insanity. That shit would be a lot more energy intensive in person. So
no. I've
right on.
in the past I've had to really tone down my faith, tone down my enthusiasm, because I know I weird people out when I don't. So today I had I met one guy. We had a nice conversation over breakfast, and I talked to a couple other people, but it was like everyone is so set on what they know and what they believe. People are unwilling to really take time and try to understand, try to connect to someone they don't know. And that's why it's important to stay connected to the people you do know, the people of your family, the people you are connected to. It's important to have those
Well, you got to give a value proposition.
What's that? Well,
what is it? What is the value anybody else thinks that they're going to get from any course of action? Not just talking to you, but also definitely talking to you. So I don't have any idea how you introduce yourself or what the deal is, but value proposition.
Life is interesting.
Seduction.
It's it is a dance. Life really is a dance, and it is about learning who you are, learning how to interact with different people. You got to know your audience, realize everyone is different, every place, every time is different. This is the frustrating part too. I got so much faith. I got a testimony that I think, I don't know, maybe it's not that great considering I don't have any results, but the way I feel, it's got to be worth something, man.
So, well, that's something good today. You got a testimonial with it, and Goblin looks good and sober and clean and shit. Got a shirt on, camera on, eyes bright, all that shit.
You have consistency, Jack. Just by your broadcast alone shows you have consistency. So I feel that whenever that time's right for you, you'll take that leap into whatever's next in your journey. You know what I mean?
I agree.
I hope so. I trust. Thank you.
Yeah, you don't seem like you're particularly enthused by any course of action right now. Is what I would take away? But you probably don't want to restart the whole career thing, right? And I can't blame you for that. Yeah, I don't really think we're in control of our own lives nearly as much as we think we are, and I think safety is an illusion. So, Carpe diem.
Those are lessons that I had to accept them. I had to accept that I couldn't control what others were doing. I couldn't control what other people were saying. And I did.
Life will fuck us up on that one.
Fuck yeah. I had to sit here. It was 3 years of trying to be patient and waiting for the system. And then the day before my fucking hearing, they yanked the rug out from under me. So I never got a day in court. So I had to sit here and just watch my life fucking crumble. My credit score disappear. My savings was gone. And then when that final nail was in the coffin, I had to fucking accept that. I had to find a way just to move on, continue. what is it? Chop wood, carry water. We just got to carry on. But the thing is life can bring us twists and turns, and all of a sudden things are taken. But I really do believe that there's an order to growth and an order towards good. And I have faith that, despite what has happened, I have faith that my faith is well placed, and that I don't know. I have faith that my faith is well placed, and that I can be a part of something pretty amazing in this lifetime here on earth. And that's what I want to do.
And you're right, there is an order to that.
It's amazing.
Yep.
I call the one behind the order, for me, that's God.
So from the panel to the chat, who's the one that's going to say, Jack, those things don't deteriorate on their own? Like, you don't just do life and watch your credit score drop, your bank account empty. That requires complacency. That requires action.
Whoa. Partial complacency, extenuating. There was many mitigating factors, because my efforts it wasn't just sitting around doing nothing. I did.
But how many of those factors still depended on you to do or not do? Like, do something wrong or not do the right thing?
Hey, Tom, you know what? This is not the time. I am so fed up.
The truth is heard.
I am so fed up with the focus on finding fault with me.
No shit. Like, and that's like, so Tom's old enough to know that life isn't a straight line improvement, right? It's not linear improvement over life. At least I assume he's smart enough to know, because if not, he's too old to be living in the hood with no car. Taking on hot plates and shit, right? Yeah. I sat and watched everything fall apart. I wasn't complacent. I did do something wrong, sort of, but like, life is full of people doing right and wrong shit.
And in the end, whoops, go ahead. Sorry.
No, you go.
In the end, what matters is what we do. We can't undo, we can't change. I've learned from the past, but I can't undo it. And where I am is where I am.
You shouldn't want to undo it, even though, like, I wouldn't change anything, even the bad shit, because that's you can't, the butterfly effect. You can't change one thing without changing it all. So,
and that's where I'm at. And I do good, bad, whatever the future brings. I am loving this adventure of life.
You sound better when you say that. You say that. I hear your words and your tone of voice. They're saying two different things.
No, I do. I do love this life. I finally figured it out. And it's like so obvious and simple. It's what was taught by Jesus. You love, you have faith, and you find joy, and you find peace. And whatever the results are, dude, that's God's hands. I can't control the results. I only control what I think, say, and do. And I do pay attention, especially these days, what I think, say, and do. Because I'm praying for change, and I'm watching for opportunities, and I'm trying to find. I'm going to create them. They'll come up.
There we go. That's the shit I like to hear. That fucking external locus of control comment was like rotting in the back of my brain.
Okay, there you go. You're right. Hey, I feel like I should wrap this up. You guys have parting words, final thoughts today?
Money, clothes, cars, and hoes. I'll let Goblin have the last one.
Good to see you, bro. Have a good day.
Goblin, thank you as well. Blessings to you, brother. Tom is still here. I will Please
Jack,
welcome.
what are you doing?
I'm wrapping up,
Like,
brother.
Okay, but do you remember our conversation at the beginning of the panel?
Which
To
part?
say I'm in the hood with no car is, you might as well say meth pedo.
Okay.
Like, that dude is playing games
Well,
and he's
you know,
calling you
it's
all
not that
over again.
extreme. No reason to
Then why
exaggerate.
can't we have a back and forth? Only the truth is suppressed. It's the first death in war, and you guys can't let me finish a statement. And who's backing you up from the chat? That 304 Lindsay, who's as confused as they come.
Okay.
You guys don't want truth. You want a comfortable lie, and I'm sick of it.
All right.
Fuck you, Jack. Be on the street and hit me up.
All right, brother. Thank you. Thank you for joining, brothers and sisters, all who joined the panel today, all who joined the chat, all who just tune in and check in at a later date and time. Sincerely, thank you. Thank you for joining. It is another episode, another broadcast. It's another episode in this Talcottian adventure in the live streams. I'm not the media broadcasting genius. I don't have the timing of all the special sounds and all the videos and stuff. But brothers and sisters, I do feel good. I feel good about the positivity, the encouragement that was offered and shared here today. While we have still some unresolved, I mean, Chuck and I, we have our disagreements, and for whatever reason, he's been a teacher for me. His lack of understanding, it confuses me, but you know, I don't have to stay confused. That's the wonderful part. Brothers and sisters, this is the idea. You don't have to be confused. You don't have to be angry. You don't have to be afraid. You don't have to be whatever. You get to be a child of God. You get to live through your heart. You get to love. You get to laugh. You get to grow. I mean, that's what life is all about, right? So if you seek the heart, and if you go within and listen, pay attention within, listen for that small, still voice that speaks from within, that small, still voice of reason, of compassion. It's there to guide. But as we get in this power where I'm in control and I'm in charge and I'm going to do everything and blah, 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 then the mind chatter drowns out that soft, still inner voice that knows. So, today's Saturday. I think tomorrow we will probably get more into, I've got some ideas for tomorrow. Brothers and sisters, sincerely, let me check one more thing here real quick. All right. I want to thank again all who were here, all who joined, and I have ideas for us again in the future. Brothers and sisters, sincerely, stay tuned. Share the knowing that this is going on, and that I don't know. Find what you're going to find. Choose love, peace for everyone, and live without fear. Thank you sincerely, and God bless us all.